Good morning. How is everybody doing? Like to take the time to welcome you to another Morning Glory Apostolic Prophetic Center video. And what we're going to talk about this morning is who is watching you? Who is watching you? So we're going to be in Hebrews chapter 12 as we discuss uh, this topic for today because many of us got to understand people are watching our lives and determining are we saved or aren't we saved. They're watching how we handle conflict. They're watching how we live our life. They watching everything that we do because for some people they're trying to find uh, 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 something wrong so they can use it as some sort of weapon or some sort of vice against you. But even with that being the case, we got to make sure that we're following Christ for the right reason and not because we want to gain notoriety, respect, or followers. So in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1, it states, wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and a sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Looking to Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest you be wearied and faint in your mind. You have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin. So when we look at chapter 12, verse 1, it talks about a great cloud of witnesses. Some people like to say is your ancestors and all this and all that. But in today's time and with social media around, we got witness. They can be our friends, families, enemies. Everybody is watching us. And the reason we got to be not necessarily bold, but the reason we got to be careful about who watches us because some people are waiting on us to make a mistake. Some people are waiting on us to say the wrong thing. Do you know how many people don't look at my videos to learn, but they look at my video to see if I'm saying something about them? They're looking at my video to see am I painting them in a negative life. I heard some say I use my videos as a smear campaign. But watch this. We got to understand that whatever we do, we got to be mindful of what we're doing. Because even though we may hide things in the dark, our spirit still speak in the light. You know, that so we got to be careful of trying to deceive our own self, knowing that things make us weak, knowing that we do things in that's just like a wife cheating on her husband, or a husband that cheating on her wife. You think you're getting away with it for the most part. And see, you know what I'm saying? And to be honest, I ain't perfect by no means. But when you married to somebody like me who see spirits, pick up spirits, know I notice the slightest thing off, but because I'm mature, because I'm understanding, I never really say nothing. But I know. And that's what most of us got to realize, that when we walk in this life, some people ain't got to know what we doing and see it. Your spirit will elude it to them, or will show it to them. So when we talk to him, so when he goes into says, let us lay aside every weight and the sin. See, there's a sin, and for many of you might be sins. There's a sin that you know without a shadow of doubt you keep tripping up in. Some of you it might be cussing. Some of you it might be whoremongering. Some of you it might be drinking. Some of you might be lying. Some of you it might be backbiting. But whatever it is, Satan knows how to do it, when to do it, and the way he has to do it. That's your weight. Because now you're trying to prevent something from happening that you can't happen, that you can't prevent. Our choices are not always between right and wrong, but it's between something that may hinder us and something else that may not. It's the difference between knowing the right person to marry and the wrong person to marry. I was looking at the news this morning, and the situation uh, I was talking about. Come to find out, this man, he didn't kill all of his ex's children, but the child he shared with that person, they wouldn't kill. So he killed her three children and himself and left his child alive. See, y'all around here looking for love, and you can't even read spirits. Now there's a mother that's crying over her three children because she married the wrong man. What kind of love language is that? I wonder. See, some sin can be easily avoided, but some can't. Some sins are admired, but they got to be laid aside. Some sin snare us and they harmful to us. Some are more dangerous than others. You got to look at your own life. See, this what gets me. Laying the great witnesses. This what gets me. So you got a book, some of you, or you got a list, and y'all sit down and y'all name everybody else's sin. But you got a big old encyclopedia of sin, and you don't know what's wrong with you. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I gave him a revelation. And this for some of y'all. And we was talking about cutting people off. And I was telling them, I said, somebody like me, it's more dangerous for you to talk to me than avoid me. And the reason I said it is because I know who I am. My, a regular conversation with me might even a regular conversation is a prophetic conversation, which means I just say something in the conversation and I'm just talking normal, but it's prophetic, which means sometimes when I cut people off, it's not necessarily that God mad at them. It means that you got to sit and hear God for yourself, because I may just give you an answer I'm not trying to give you because I'm just talking. You know how many people I just try to have normal conversation with, and I just say something. I just say, you know you got a car coming next week, and then I just go on, then I'm going on my conversation. I just asked God, can I have a car? See, sometimes I have to keep my mouth closed because the dangerous part about that is that you looking at me talking to you normal, but in your spirit, you wondering what I know. You looking for me to say a confirmation. That means you're looking at me, which means I can be a snare to people. I can be a sin to people. That's why I am like I am. Let me tell y'all the secret. See, we're in a season of judgment, and a lot of y'all judging things you don't know. The reason I talk like I talk, that's my self-defense mechanism, which means I might say perverted things, I might say things that don't sound Christ-like, not necessarily for you to laugh or you get that. I say that because people who don't understand me, they're going to immediately get turned off by me. Sometimes I say that so people who do understand me, well, why Dedric keep saying that? I do it to prevent you from thinking you can get so attached to me that you know me. Whether spiritually or naturally, you will never know a person. The Bible says we grow from faith to faith. I'm not the same person I was yesterday. When I go to sleep and I wake up, I'm a whole different person. See, y'all see that's why a lot of y'all are single and not married because y'all believe in red flag dating, which means if you see somebody see something, if you see something in a man or a woman and somebody did it before, that's a red flag to me. Y'all immediately turn them off. Sometimes the red flag is not them, it's God showing you who you are. Yeah. So when it says, going to verse 2, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross. The problem with a lot of y'all, and when I ever get back in the building, when I have a new person class, well, I don't know what I'm going to take because I don't try to be churchy with it. But whatever I have, I'm going to have to teach you this. The ultimate example is Jesus Christ. He is the author and finisher of faith, who for the joy that was set. So when Christ seen he had to be beat, he had to be lied on, he had to be talked about. He who for the joy, that was joy to Christ to know he had to go through that for us. Watch what it says. Despise and ashamed. You want to clap back. You want to tell people you from the south side of Chicago. You want to tell people you came from the hood because they ain't going to talk to you any kind of way. Just shut up. Because if Jesus is our ultimate example, he took pride in knowing what he had to do. See, y'all taking pride and tricking God thinking you know what to do. You know the way who was endured the cross. You know why Christ had to be hung on the cross? Because God had to look at his creation, hide behind his creation. So what's that mean? That means Adam and Eve hid behind a tree instead of hiding behind God. That's why it's called the cross. Because they crossed God by not knowing they can come to God for anything. So that's why Jesus had to be killed in front of the cross, because man tried to hide behind the cross. You shame Christ, you shame God in front of his creation. See, that's why we got to go through what we go through. If you ain't got no money and you had to give it to God, or God told you to give it to him, guess what? You got to take that on the chin because they're going, oh, the people at that church taking your money, they just doing this. That. I know that's shameful. I've been through it. Why you going out of that church? You got to despise that shame. But see, a lot of y'all got pride and you scared of being ashamed. See, that's why you got to know when and how to tell your testimony. Because some of y'all tell your testimony for attention and not for conviction. So when we talk about who for the joy that was set forward, it's not that he looked at the cross itself as joy, but he can look past the horror of what he had to do to enjoy it. Beyond it, which means he's seen the finished product of what he had to go through. So he endured the cross. What does endure mean? That means that every agonizing experience he had, the reason he was overcome it because he knew he would be with the Father forever after he did this. That means everything that we go through, if you looking at, see, that's what, if you're looking at being with God forever after this, that's the joy. That's why he said, keep your mind set on things above and not beneath. See, that's why I laugh when somebody told me I can't discern reality. That's not my job to discern reality. My job is to keep my mind on him who give me perfect peace. See, that's how I can go through what I go through. Not saying I don't get fleshly, I don't get carnal, I don't get worldly. So sometimes enduring the cross means keeping your tongue. But watch what I say. I said, don't do what you see me doing. You're supposed to be better than me. So when I often say when I'm messing up, but watch this. Enduring the cross means keeping your tongue, keep the course, keep progressing, keep his joy, keep his love. How do you know you progressing in Christ if last night we talked about stop living the what if life? How you progressing and you keep remember what happened to you in your past? Watch this. You know the reason why a lot of relationships, friendships, and marriages, oftentimes they can never get back together because they have no progress. Because see, if you keep playing in your mind, your husband cheated on you, your wife cheated on you, your husband didn't love you, your wife, you can never go back to the one who did because your focus is in the past. So what happens? You take what happened to you and you make it a foundational point of what you won't take from somebody else. So you take your past and bring it into your future and you make it a cross. If you don't love me like I want to be loved, I'm gone. If you cheat on me, I'm gone. If you hit me, I'm gone. If you cuss me out, I'm gone. You haven't progressed. And progressing means forgiveness. Now, oftentimes forgiveness is not necessarily for them, it's for you. But if you got a relationship with God, then see, I hate people to come to me and tell me to forgive somebody. I got a relationship with God. If he tell me I need to forgive somebody for what they done to me, I go to him. Well, I ain't gonna say forgive. I can forgive him, but if he tell me I need to talk to him again or go, I do it. But if God don't tell me, I can forgive you and not say nothing to you. Because what you did to me is not a progress. It don't stop me from getting to that next level. And see, a lot of y'all can't get to the next level because you living a what if life. What if they cheat on me? What if they hit me? What if they cuss me out? I'm gone. See, y'all got to despise the shame in this life because people are watching how you progress in this life. See, when you despise the shame, look, see, Jesus had to go against the shameful accusation of blasphemy. He had to go through the shameful mocking. He had to go through the shameful beating, the shameful crowd, the shameful road. He was mocked even on the cross. Well, Brother Hubbard, he ain't married no more. His wife done put him out. His wife done took everything. Brother Hubbard, listen here. I say those things as an example. I'm not ashamed at all. I've been in this gospel game for 27 years. And every time I lost something, I got better. That's why I told y'all, when you lose them, ask God for your consolation prize. But watch this. You only get a consolation prize if you was following the will of God and what you did. It ain't no consolation prize sitting in your truck alone crying by yourself. It ain't no consolation prize sitting laying in your bed listening to Brother Hubbard videos, trying to see if Brother Hubbard talking about you. That's depression. That's anxiety. That's regret. Brother Hubbard, listen here. I'm not saying you ain't gonna go through nothing. But once you get over it, you got to look back at the growth that you have experienced it when it comes to the thing of God. And a lot of us, we scared to admit that we have not experienced growth. You want to sit around here and you want to say hallelujah. You want to go on social media and you want to put on your religious this and God did that. God don't even know you because you scared to despise the shame. See, some of y'all scared to say, ooh, I'm divorced and my husband took everything. I ain't got no else. Bro, listen here. I wasn't ashamed of where I had to stay. But I know that wasn't me. But I had to go through the shame of staying next to people who set their trash outside, who smoke weed, bull daggers on this side, and they laughing and talking aloud, the crazy man next door. And when I despised the shame of where I was at, he said, okay, now it's time for you to go. See, if you're not ashamed of how you living and you know you can live better than what you living, something wrong with you. Something wrong with you. And people watching that. I think I was telling somebody the other day, when I was out there staying in my car, I was ashamed. But I had to get over that shame because that's what I had. See, when you get over the shame, God can point you in the right direction. But for many of you, you don't want to talk about that shame. You want to put your smiling face on like you got it all together. No, you ain't got it all together. So now we go into verse 3, and he says, for consider him who endured such has started from sinners against himself. lest you become weary and discouraged. It's a shame that the same people that you often try to save are the same people that treat you like trash. They treat you like nothing. Man, you think Brother Hubbard wasn't hurt? You've been with this woman for 9 years and she just erased you out her life like you wasn't sugar, honey, iced tea? Like I didn't mean nothing? That got to hurt y'all. But you got to despise that shame. Take every. I had worked hard to get where I had a house full of furniture. I left with a closet full of clothes. I got to despise that shame. I was telling somebody the other day, when I was looking at I said, dog, them a lot of clothes. But I remember I had 4 pair of faded glories, about 6 shirts, and 1 pair of shoes. And that wasn't too long ago. I was staying in Kensington Place apartment over by Stonecrest Mall in Atlanta, Georgia. I was dating a snow bunny did, and the snow bunny. She came in my house and I had like this walk-in closet, and she happened to go in and say, "Ooh, you ain't got nothing." I said, "No, I don't. But whatever I had was clean." So watch this. I might not left with nothing, but I had something. See, I'm not ashamed. And that's why I can talk about that. That's why Paul said the things that happen to me are for the furtherance of the gospel. So when people take stuff from you, don't sit there and fight over it, you know. And I'm not saying that to be in a negative way. I'm just saying that for you to understand, some things don't make no sense, but it don't mean that it ain't God. So now now I use well, I'm in witness protection now. I have to deal with riding around Tallahassee, and that's you know. Can I be honest with y'all? Getting a divorce. So I said, well, let me go on this dating site. I went on the dating site. Do you know one of these heifers came to me, hey, who is, and they mentioned my ex-wife's name. I said, hey, I said, you know who she is, or you want to ask me. And I said, for your information, we're no longer together. Shame. But y'all know what I did. I said, well, let me get off here, cause now I'm in this small town and everybody know her. So I probably can't even find me a woman around here. That heifer tried me. I had to despise that shame. And see, what's wrong with a lot of y'all, and what I be saying, y'all self-will, y'all self-heal. People ask you what's wrong with you. I'm fine, ain't nothing going on. You know good and well you tore up on the inside. See, you can't handle the hostility of sinners. Now, so what I was saying, now I'm riding around. I used to be riding around Tallahassee, and if they see my truck or they trailer, and because I'm a preacher, well, ain't no telling what people are assuming or what lie been told. Or what, I ain't saying it's her, but I'm just saying y'all know how people is when things happen. What's in their mind about me? But the problem is, you scared to ask me. I'm gonna tell you the truth. as much as the Lord allowed me to tell. So the problem is, because y'all hiding the shame that you're going through, you become weary and discouraged in your soul. See, when you start to encounter social and economic persecution, you do whatever you take to survive. You do whatever it is. And for many of us, we're going about things the wrong way. You have not yet resisted to bloodshed striving against sin. See, when he said resisted to bloodshed, that means you really don't understand the power that Christ gave us when we died. And that's okay. That's okay. The problem, though, is that you don't want nobody to talk about your sin. See, that's when we jump down to verse 5, and it says, and ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth, he chastens, and scourge every son whom he receives. If you endure chastening, God deal with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chastens not? But if you be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then you are bastards and not sons. I like that. See, you know how many people mad with Brother Hubbard? Why you always on me? Why you always on me? Why you always on me? For whom the Lord love, he chastens and scourge. See, some of you too messed up in your thoughts that you don't see. If Brother Hubbard, if God allows Brother Hubbard to always get on you, that means you're a part of him. But see, I was telling somebody the other day, I said, that's why my ministry like it is. I was in church sitting. I'm begging for the preacher to say something about my sin because I wanted to be delivered. This heathen ain't saying nothing. So what does God do? He said, well, let me let Brother Hubbard get a ministry and he gonna talk about sin because I'm gonna chasten those who I love. Notice I ain't saying I'm trying to stop what you're doing, chasing what you're doing. You got to stop on your own. So if I ask you why you still giving up the cookie, and I get mad at you for giving up the cookie, that don't mean you're gonna stop giving up the cookie, but that's letting you know that God is concerned. Why you think I keep talking about these sororities and fraternities and Eastern Stars, Masons, and God concerned? But because you don't want to listen, because that's where your identity is in, you're a bastard. But if you be without chastisement, that means you're a bastard. Brother Hubbard offended me, bastard. Brother Hubbard talking about my hair, bastard. You bastardize. Your conscience seared like a hot iron because you don't want the truth, because your identity is in strolling on the block. Your identity on sticking it on the left, y'all said it on the right, y'all said it all. Oh, y'all be out there. My fault. That was back in my time. Bend that token over. Let that coochie breathe. Let that coochie breathe. F my baby daddy. F my baby daddy. How you a product of God? F your baby daddy. Let that coochie breathe. Hands on your, what it is? Hands on your knees. Let that coochie breathe. You a bastard. Verse 9. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much more, shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? I know my son messed up in the head, but every now and then, I don't care how messed up in the head he is. I said, boy, you need to do such and such. Okay, daddy. His mama be giving him to cut grass, so that boy so lazy. I said, boy, you ain't cut your mama grass yet? I'm going to get to it, daddy. I said, boy, don't have me to come down there. I'm going to get to it, daddy. And I'm laughing at the answer he gave me. He said, it was like last month. He said, yeah, daddy. He said, the grass going kind of uneasy because the weeds coming up. I want to get a little high. So when I cut it, it looked like a carpet. I laughed so hard at him. I said, yeah. I said, that's my son. I said, I know what you're talking about. He was around me as a child cutting grass. So I was getting at him because I didn't understand his reasoning, because I was just looking at his mama. Well, he gonna cut the backyard, I cut the front myself, because she always cut her own grass. But the reason he gave me, he gave it from a father-son relationship. Because he was around, even though he was young, he was around me enough to hear me say things. Now, I never said that, but because he my son, he knew what to say to shut me up. The reason y'all bastards is because when I say what I need to say from the man who you claim your father, i.e. God, you say I'm offensive. I laughed when somebody told me you offend people too much. That's my job. See, man, God made a deal when he called me because he know I ain't no good. He said, whatever they teach again, he said, whatever they teaching that ain't no mean, you teach against it. That's what my covenant with God. I had my own sister say to me one time, you find something wrong with everything. That's my job. I said, yeah, I do. I don't try to change you what you're doing. I just let you know that certain things we doing is wrong. But if you want to be a bastard, be a bastard. But notice it's people watching you. It's people watching you. So you got to ask yourself, am I really the representation of Jesus Christ, or am I a representation of the world? The only way you're a representation of Jesus Christ is when you love like him, you operate in who you're supposed to be, you getting a revelation of why you're supposed to be like you is, and you changing people's lives. If all you doing is going to church, you haven't tapped into who Jesus Christ really is.